Hello, coin friends, and welcome back to Neat Coin Value. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most asked about coins in American pocket change, the 1969 Roosevelt dime. We're going to cover everything: its history, how it was made, key features to look for, and of course, the big question: what is its circulated value today? So, grab your coin jars, and let's get started. First, a little context. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, just months after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, to honor his work founding the March of Dimes and his leadership through the Great Depression and World War II. By 1969, the coin was a familiar sight. But this year was a time of great transition. At the end of 1969, the mint was still producing coins for circulation in 90% silver for earlier years, but that had ended for dimes in 1964. So, every single 1969 Roosevelt dime you find is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition. That's a core of pure copper sandwiched between two layers of a copper-nickel alloy. So, no silver here, folks. Now, the San Francisco Mint was primarily focused on proof coins for collectors that year, but they did produce a small number of circulation strike business coins. This makes the 1969 S-dime a key date for the series in circulated condition. Look at that disparity. The Denver Mint made over 500 million dimes. Philadelphia made a healthy 145 million. But San Francisco, just under 3 million. That low mintage is what makes the 1969 S the star of the show for collectors. Now, let's talk about what you actually need to look for. We're focusing on circulated value today, so we're not talking about pristine, uncirculated coins. We're talking about coins that have been in pockets and vending machines and have lived a life. The value of your dime is 100% tied to its condition and its mint mark. Let's break it down, starting with the most common ones. If you have a 1969 dime with no mint mark, that's a Philadelphia coin, or a D-mint mark, the odds are overwhelmingly that it's a very common coin. In lower circulated grades, let's say from good to fine, these dimes are still just worth their face value of 10 cents. They are so common that even with 50 years of wear and loss, there are still millions upon millions out there. However, if you find one that saw very little circulation, maybe it was in a book or a jar for decades, and it's an extremely fine XF40 condition, you might be able to get 25 to 50 cents for it. For an about uncirculated coin, maybe 75 cents to $1. But for the vast majority of the 1969 P and 1969 D dimes you'll find, they are spenders. Enjoy them as a piece of history, but don't plan your retirement around them. Now, this is the one you want to be looking for. The 1969 S Roosevelt dime. Remember that tiny mintage of under 3 million? Compared to the others, that's nothing. Because so few were made for circulation, finding one in any condition is a win for a collector. That's right, a worn-out, circulated 1969 S-dime that you might overlook is worth at least 15 times its face value, and a nice, crisp one can be close to $1. This is why you always check your mint marks. So how do you find it? It's simple. Take any 1969 dime, turn it over, and look at the reverse, the backside. Look at the bottom, right between the olive branch and the torch. You're looking for a small letter. If it's not there, it's a Philly coin. If it's a D, it's Denver. But if you see that tiny, beautiful S, you've just found a small treasure. But wait, we're not done. What if your 1969 dime is a little weird? The late 1960s were known for some dramatic mint errors, and the 1969 dime has a famous on. The 1992 Roosevelt dime. It's a workhorse of American currency. But does that mean every 1992 dime is just worth 10 cents? Or could there be a hidden gem lurking in plain sight? We're going to dive deep into the history, the key varieties, and the real, honest-to-goodness, circulated value of the 1992 Roosevelt dime. First, a little history. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, just a year after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. He was a hugely influential figure, and his work founding the March of Dimes to combat polio led to the dime being chosen as the coin to honor him. It replaced the Mercury dime and the design by John R. Cynic has been with us ever since. So, by 1992, this design was nearly 50 years old. It was a year of business as usual for the U.S. Mint. They were producing millions upon millions of these dimes for circulation from three mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. And that right there is our first point of investigation. Because where a 1992 dime was made makes the first big difference. Let's be brutally honest right from the start. The vast, and I mean vast, majority of 1,992 dimes you will find in your change, in your car's cup holder, or in an old jar of coins are worth exactly one thing: 10 cents. If you have a 1992 P, no mint mark, or a 1992 D dime that is worn, scratched, and has lost its luster from decades of circulation, its value is its face value. It's a common coin from a recent era, with over 1.6 billion of them minted between the Philadelphia and Denver mints that year alone. So, for a typical circulated specimen, we're not talking about retirement funds. We're talking about a piece of history you can use to buy a gumball. But wait, don't go dumping all your 1992 dimes back into your wallet just yet. This is where the fun begins. Even for a circulated coin, condition and variety are everything that a coin's grade is a measure of its wear. A heavily circulated 1992 dime is 10C, and the torch might be worth 25 to 50 cents. Now, if you find one in uncirculated condition, meaning it has absolutely zero wear from being handled, the value starts to climb. A typical uncirculated 1992 P or D dime might fetch between $1 and $5, depending on the quality of the strike and how much of its original mint luster it has retained. Remember I mentioned the San Francisco Mint? In 1992, the S mint mark meant one thing: proof coins. These weren't made for circulation. They were specially struck for collectors using polished planchets and dies, giving them a gorgeous, mirror-like background and frosted, detailed design. Now, a 1992 S-proof dime in its original government packaging, flawless, is worth about $3 to $5. But here's the curveball for circulated value. What if someone took that beautiful proof coin and asterisk spin it? A circulated proof coin is a sad story. It's called an impaired proof. The premium is almost entirely gone. A War 1992 S-proof dime you find in change might only be worth 20 to 30 cents, simply because it's no longer a pristine collector item. It's a damaged version of a special coin. Okay, coin detectives, this is it, the main event. The reason we're even making a whole video about a 1992 dime. I'm talking about the legendary 1992 close AM variety. On the reverse of the Roosevelt dime, at the bottom, are the words "one dime," and above that, in the center, are the letters A and M in America. For most of the dime's life, these letters were widely spaced. But in 1992, and only for a short time, some dies were made where the A and the M are almost touching. This close AM variety is rare. It was only produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and it was a mistake that was quickly corrected. So, how do you tell if you have one? You need to look at the reverse. If the A and the M are so close that they are almost connected at the base, you might have a winner. The normal variety has a clear, wide gap. We're talking about the 1997 Roosevelt dime. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, Alex, come on. It's a dime from the 90s. It's worth 10 cents. And 99.999% of the time, you would be absolutely right. But the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. And sometimes, the most ordinary-looking coins can have extraordinary stories, or, in very rare cases, extraordinary values. So, grab your coin jars because we're about to separate fact from fiction and find out what your 1997 dime is really worth. First, let's get to know our subject. The 1997 Roosevelt dime is a modern, circulating coin. It was minted in massive numbers. We're talking hundreds of millions of them. That's over 1.9 billion dimes from just the Philadelphia and Denver mints alone in 1997. To put that in perspective, if you stack them all, you could probably build a ladder to the moon. Okay, maybe not, but you get the idea. They're exceptionally common. The coin is made of a cupronickel blend, the same as today's dimes, a core of pure copper sandwiched between outer layers of copper nickel. It weighs 2.268 grams and has the reeded edges we're all familiar with. .so. With those astronomical mintage figures, the vast, and I mean vast, majority of 1997 dimes are worth exactly one thing: 10 cents. Their face value. They are circulation workhorses, and there's no secret fortune hiding in the average, worn specimen you get as change at the grocery store. First up, we have the circulated dime. This is the one with nicks, scratches, and whereon Roosevelt's hair and the torch on the reverse. It's lost its luster. Value, 10 cents, it's purely spendable. Next, we have what collectors call uncirculated coins. These are coins that were struck at the mint and immediately set aside, never entering public circulation. They have a beautiful mint luster, a flashy, cartwheel-like shine when you tilt them in the light. For a standard 1997 P or a 1997 D dime in a nice, uncirculated condition, you are